welcome back to Kairi Lele's kitchen. Today we'll be making a favorite in Trinidad. It's called Dhalpuri Roti. I'm sure a lot of you heard of roti before, but this is going to be our way of making Dhalpuri Roti. It's a very popular dish in Trinidad. It can be used as a street food as well as for dinner, lunch, breakfast. However you like it, your personal preference, but it's a very popular dish in Trinidad. So follow me and I will show you step by step on how we make this delicious dish. Okay guys, so we're gonna get started with our peas first. The first thing we're gonna do is put our peas to boil, but before we even do that, we gotta wash it thoroughly. Just so you know, this piece has been picked, meaning we go through it and make sure there's no stones or impurities in the peas itself. So we have done that already. We have 2 packs of peas here and we're gonna wash it now, okay? Okay guys, so our peas is thoroughly washed. As you can see, it should be clean like this without any froth. And now I'm gonna add about 5 to 6 pegs of garlic. And as I said earlier, we have 2 packs of split peas in the pot. So we're gonna add the garlic in. And next, we're gonna add our turmeric, which is also known as saffron. So in this one, we have Simply Organic brand turmeric. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a sprinkle, but I would say maybe about a tablespoon should be good. Okay. Okay guys, so we're also gonna add some salt, and this is about a teaspoon of salt. Now we're gonna just stir it up to make sure the peas is not sticking at the bottom. And one quick tip here already as far as the peas being ready for when we have to strain it. When the peas is ready, it's gonna be like somewhat cooked but not fully cooked. You gotta have it where you can feel like it's cooked, but you're still feeling some sort of hardness in it. If it's too cooked, it will give you a hard time when it's time to grind it. So you gotta really pay attention to this, okay? Just FYI, if you don't pay attention to this and it's overcooked, it's gonna be really hard to grind it unless you're using a food mill. And in this case, I'm gonna be using a food processor. So that's really important for you to pay attention to make sure you don't overcook the peas. Get started needing the flour for Dhalpuri Roti. And the first thing we have here, I'm just going to show you our list of ingredients. The first thing we have is 6 cups of all-purpose flour. And this is a very, very healthy flour. It's non-GMO. Everything we use here at Kairi Lele, we actually do non-GMO products and organic products. We cook with your heart and health in mind, just so you know that, okay? We also have our baking powder, and we always make sure that the baking powder matches the flour. So we have 6 cups of flour, so we're gonna have 6 teaspoons of baking powder. And we also have salt. I would say about a teaspoon of salt, maybe a teaspoon and a half. You can do this to your likeness, you know. Some people like things a little more salt than the others. I try not to make things salty because again, we think about people's heart and their health, okay? And last but not least, we also have some oil for sealing and coating. And to knead our flour, we have our water. So we're gonna get started with kneading our flour. Okay guys, so our peas is just about ready, and the way you test this, you take a piece in your hand and you just want to press down on it. When it looks like this, it's sort of soft, but you can still feel some firmness to it. That means it's perfectly ready now. So we're gonna strain our peas right now, okay? Getting ready to grind our peas for our Dhalpuri Roti now. And before it gets started, I just want to give you one quick tip. When you're grinding the peas in the food processor, which is what we will be using today, please don't put a lot of peas in the cup. If you do, it's gonna start sticking and it's gonna give you a lot of problems to grind the peas up. So you wanna try to put as little as possible, maybe no more than a cup, okay? So we're gonna get started. So peas is ready, and we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so this is what the peas should look like. It should look more like a powdery texture, and as you can see, it looks that way right now. And when you're grinding it, it should be able to move and not stick on the food processor. It should turn really easily as it's grinding. If it's not doing that, then you know it's not ready. The peas is either cooked too soft. And I'll give you one tip. If that happens where it's sticking a lot, something that has saved me so much with my catering jobs and just cooking for my family all together, when that happens, I usually put it in the oven. You know, like just throw it out in like a real shallow pan and just put it in the oven and dry out some of the texture. And that would give you the texture that you need, okay? So that's just a quick note, okay? Okay guys, so we have finished grinding our peas, and I just want to show you the texture of what it should look like. As you can see, the color is really rich and vibrant, and it's also very powdery, and that's the texture you want and the coloring you want. So now we're gonna add in our cumin and roasted jeera, okay? So the first thing we're gonna add in is chief roasted jeera, and again, I really don't measure, so I'm just gonna sprinkle some until the Lord tell me to stop, okay? So Chief is the brand, and we're just gonna sprinkle some of this, and we're gonna take some time here just to mix this in. Oh my God, it smells amazing. Okay, and also we're gonna go in with some ground cumin. I like to mix the spices. I'm really into mixing ground spices and herbs, and so we just put in the roasted jeera, and now we're gonna mix in some ground cumin. Okay, the combination together is really, really good. Okay. Just gonna mix it thoroughly until it's all evenly distributed, and it looks like it is. And I'm gonna show you again what it should look like with everything going in. So now we are ready. See, this is what it should look like after everything is in with the roasted jeera and the ground cumin. Okay guys, so now we're gonna get started on actually preparing our Dhalpuri dough balls. And the first tip I want to give you is to make sure before you touch the flour that your hand is properly floured. The flour should be really soft and rise, and if it is, you want to make sure that you have enough flour on your hand, so when you touch the flour, it's not going to be really sticky. Okay, so what I normally do is put like a little bit of flour, like in a little pile, and I just make sure my hand is all floured, so when I touch the flour to make the dough balls, I'm ready to do that. Okay, so we're gonna make the first one, and I usually dip it in the flour right now. And I'm just gonna open it up a little bit, and we're gonna go in with our split peas, and we're just gonna do it just like this and just like this. Soak it in, and then like this. So this is the first one. You want to make sure like you kind of open it up a little bit, and like I said, make sure your hand is properly floured. I like to put a lot of split peas in it, so when you taste the roti, the Dhalpuri roti, you can taste the split peas in it. And I know it may seem easy the way I'm doing it, but for someone who's now learning, it takes time. So be patient with yourself, okay? I have been doing this for a very, very, very long time. See, and then you want to kind of mash it in a little bit, like press down on it a little bit, so you make sure that the peas itself soaks into the dough. Okay guys, so we're gonna start cooking our Dhalpuri roti right now. We have our tower heating up, and we wanna make sure we have our flour, our countertop flour, as same for our rolling pin. Okay, so we're gonna get our first roti dough, and make sure your hand is floured properly also, so it doesn't stick. I always like to roll it like a long way first and then switch it to the side. You don't need to press too hard. Just do it gently and it will form for you. It takes a little time to get it like this, honestly, but with practice it will come easy. You want to make sure your ends are really thin. You don't want roti to be really thick. People don't like to taste all that flour. So you roll it out as thin as possible, okay? Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna just grease the tower lightly. You can use a brush. Roti. Get all the excess flour out of it, and we just put it on here, and we just make sure it's on there properly. And then we're going to grease on the top of it again.
Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.